Today News Update.
A warm welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Friday, August 5. So glad you could join us. The Central Bank of Barbados has not been printing money. Prime Minister Mia Mottley made this clear today as she sought to set the record straight with respect to the financial institution's purchase of recent government-issued bonds. President of the Democratic Labour Party, Dr. Ronnie Yearwood, recently charged that government was printing money by having the Central Bank of Barbados purchase its boss bonds. But Mottley rubbished the charge as she took to the floor of Parliament during debate on the Electric Light and Power Amendment Bill.
The boss bonds that people bought were bought by ordinary public servants and others who then bought from public servants. It wasn't a case of printing money. And to the extent that the central bank issued securities under the pandemic levy, it was because they were issuing securities out of money that was converted from the special drawing rights from the International Monetary Fund, which is the government's money. But we are now, each day and each week, having persons making all kinds of spurious allegations. And I get it, I get it. Because if you can't find something substantive to talk about, then you have to pick something and manufacture it.
Energy Minister Carrie Symmonds today took on critics of government's Electric Light and Power Amendment Bill, insisting opposition to the measure is unnecessary posturing and political partisan rancor. Interveners have warned that the bill is unfair and seeks to limit public discourse on involvement on the issuing of licensing in the renewable energy sector. Government has since made changes to the bill. Section 5 of the Act has been modified, and Minister Symmonds insists the legislation is simply intended to facilitate interveners and objectors and to ensure fairness on all sides.
All that I have come here to do is to make life easier for those people who want to intervene. All that I have stood here and said today, sir, has been about empowering those people who want to intervene in the interest of the wider public of Barbados to say, for these reasons, we believe, or I believe, that the Light and Power should or should not get a license to generate or to dispatch or to sell electricity. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, it renders this then an unnecessary waste of parliamentary time, because we could have been in and out of this in 5 minutes. That I had to stand here on the floor of the House to go through this is because, sir, I remain faithful to those people who sent me here and to the leadership of this government, sir, which insists that there must be the fullest of accountability and transparency in the conduct of public affairs. We have nothing to hide in this matter, sir. And to the extent that there was the possibility of interpretations of a different type, we have pulled the legislation, we have redrafted so as to put it beyond doubt and make it pellucidly clear, sir, that this government is only interested in the advancement of the well-being of this sector, in the advancement of the well-being of the stakeholders' interests, utility and non-utility, Mr. Speaker, sir. And as I have said before on the floor of this House, let us let it settle down, because we are too small and the global circumstances are too challenging for us to feel that we can ever survive if we create unnecessary strife and civil war between the utility and the populace of Barbados.
Minister Symmonds called on the interveners and other parties to engage in constructive discussion in the interests of Barbadians.
I am inviting constructive engagement. I will be the first person at the table if we wish to have constructive engagement as to how we can make this sector work better in the interests of the people. But as you're going to be objecting, Mr. Speaker, and coming talking foolishness that seeks to put a barrier between the ability of the working class people in Fitz Village to access solar photovoltaics on their roof so that their home can provide passive income in hard times, so that they can offset the cost of sending the little child to school, offset the cost, Mr. Speaker, sir, of paying the mortgage, offset the cost of all the other bills that have to be paid, then I will be your worst enemy, because I can't deal with that. I believe, Mr. Speaker, sir, if you're going to engage constructively, then let us engage constructively.
Meanwhile, Barbadians were assured that government is taking steps to address the Auditor General report. Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Strawn, however, maintained that the government continues to be transparent and has nothing to be ashamed of.
There's nothing in the Auditor General's report that will lead anybody to conclude realistically that, one, there's been any thieving, corruption, or anything, trying to use that word deliberately, because Barbadians need to understand that what the Auditor General is referring to, sir, in his report are issues of how do you account for the money. And I accept, sir, that it may not be it is a system that we've inherited. We have been making improvements along the way, but there's no thieving, sir, highlighted in any of those reports. And I am proud to stand here today, sir, to say that this government has been consistent with respect to its conduct in delivering for the people, and therefore the spending of the public purse, sir, since we have come to office. This chamber also, and I will reiterate, sir, every year since 2019, sir, all Barbadians had the opportunity to go on YouTube, sir, and watch ministers and public servants come into Parliament, sir, and to answer questions, yes, from members here, specifically about what is happening within their ministries. And that is in addition to, sir, as I said, the publishing of the fiscal framework, as well as the mid-year review, which I've done, sir. I think this will be the third time this year, in October, that will be done in order to help augment the information.
Barbados will soon be home to a World Food Programme logistics hub, which will make it easier for food supplies to be transported to Caribbean countries impacted by natural disasters. Minister of Home Affairs and Information Wilfred Abrams announced that land has been identified in the vicinity of the Grantley Adams International Airport, where the program will set up its hub, giving it easy access to the runway, Barbados' network, and the rest of the Caribbean. The two partners signed the agreement for the hub and leasing of the land at the ministry's conference room in the Jones Building today.
The main component is going to be a very, very large warehouse that allows the World Food Programme to pre-position supplies, food supplies, other necessary supplies for the aftermath of a disaster, or even to just help out in emergency situations in one place. There's also going to be a training center and offices. So it's going to be a massive facility that allows for training, almost, Prime Minister likes to use words like center of excellence. But we plan to do serious training there in disaster management, disaster resilience, all related fields. And it's going to be a massive warehouse that is not just for Barbados, but also for the rest of the Caribbean. And in some cases, it might get into the Central Americas if necessary.
Regional and international news coming up after this short break.
Pure oxygen is way more than just water. We infuse pristine water with over 1 billion tiny oxygen bubbles using our state-of-the-art process. The benefits of additional oxygen are huge, from strengthening your immune system to increasing energy levels, stamina, and sports performance. And that's not all. It also improves skin health, helps you sleep better, and reduces stress. Join the movement of people experiencing the benefits of pure oxygen. It's not hype, it's science.
Welcome back to Regional News. The first flock of Barbados black-belly sheep arrived safely in Guyana on Thursday. It's all part of a project launched by President Irfan Ali earlier this year to help chop the region's lamb imports and boost food security. More in this report from Newsroom Guyana.
The 132 black-belly sheep that arrived from Barbados in Guyana on Thursday is the first flock of 1,000 sheep that will be transported in smaller flocks over the coming weeks. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, during the offloading of the sheep, said it was a momentous occasion.
The President have announced that this program is a special program where we want to create a brand, a Caribbean brand with black-belly here. And also Prime Minister Motley would have said when she was in Guyana that she wants us to also breed a new breed of sheep, a mixed breed between the black-belly and the Guyana local sheep. So we are looking to work in those two directions.
Mustafa said that the sheep will be sent to the Guyana Livestock Development Authority, GLDA, where it will be fed local sheep feed to prepare it for living in Guyana. Close to 100 farmers have already signaled their intention to be a part of the project, making close to 1,400 acres of their land available. In Region 5, there are farmers preparing pens to accommodate the remaining 1,000 sheep. Meanwhile, the Barbadian Prime Minister, Special Envoy to Guyana, Althea Wiggins, said Guyana and Barbados' collaboration will improve the agriculture sector in the Caribbean.
This is a momentous occasion between Barbados and Guyana, where we have seen the St. Barnabas Accord in full action. The fact that we have shipped these sheep here safely from Barbados to Guyana tells us that we are going to get those 1,000 sheep here safe and in good condition, Minister. When we have concluded agreements in terms of creating one domestic space between Barbados and Guyana, more benefits would accrue to both countries.
On the international scene, 4 U.S. police officers have been charged over the killing of Breonna Taylor, a black woman shot dead in her home during a police raid. It has been 2 years since the death of the medical technician, which led to mass protests and further invigorated the Black Lives Matter movement.
Say her name! Breonna Taylor! Say her name! Breonna Taylor!
A moment of celebration for the family and friends of Breonna Taylor. 4 current and former Louisville police officers have been arrested on federal charges in connection with Taylor's killing in March 2020.
Y'all learning what we've been saying was the truth, that they shouldn't have been there and that Breonna didn't deserve that.
Taylor was killed when Louisville police stormed her apartment looking for a drug dealer. Her boyfriend said police didn't announce themselves, and so he fired his gun at what he thought were intruders. Police shot back 22 times, hitting Taylor in the chest. Federal prosecutors say police knew they didn't have the evidence to justify raiding Taylor's home, but they did so anyway.
Earlier today, I spoke with the family of Breonna Taylor. This morning, they were informed that the Justice Department has charged 4 current and former Louisville Metro Police Department officers with federal crimes related to Ms. Taylor's death. Those alleged crimes include civil rights offenses, unlawful conspiracies, unconstitutional use of force, and obstruction offenses.
The officers are also accused of plotting to cover up their behavior. If convicted, they could get up to 20 years in prison for obstruction and 5 years for conspiracy and lying. Along with the killing of George Floyd in May 2020, Taylor's death led to protests across the United States against both racism and police brutality.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Azumi Medium Bus terminals as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. Have a wonderful weekend and be sure to join us again on Monday.